Here I have something a bit bigger. It's a Kenwood beaten up KRF-V6300D amplifier. One of these Dolby Pro Logic by the look of it. 100 watts times 5. Usual horrible surround amp type thing. Oh, I've actually got HDMIs on this one, so it's not that old. And this one was a tip shop special, and it was just $10. The only reason I bought it, despite the big dent in it, is because I've got a, I think it's a Sherwood amp here that I wanted some output transistors for. So I thought these things, one thing these amps are good for is output transistors. And I do actually have one of these surround ones lying around somewhere, but it's so far buried it's easier to pay $10 for another one than to try and find that one and dig it out. But I might as well have a quick look at it and see if there's anything much actually wrong with the thing. These can go from having simple faults to having really annoying, hard to find faults. Some of the Yamahas and stuff get weird problems where they won't turn on and stuff. And you know, I had, I think, one amp, I can't remember if it was a Yamaha or something else, had to replace a digital to analog converter in it somewhere. Maybe a couple of them will surface mount chips, so that was a bit of fun. But they do have a lot of boards in them, a lot of surface mount stuff, run very hot, at least if they get a good amount of use. But there's even a bit of dirt on this one, so I assume this is one that got thrown on the tip rather than went to the tip shop. And I assume it does actually have transistors in it. Oh yeah, lots and lots of transistors. 1 pair, 2 pairs, should be 5 pairs I guess. What have we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't think that's a little one, or is it a big one? 9, 10 I think. So that's about the main use for these things. Technically even the transformer out of them should be fairly powerful. And yes, got banks of relays there. Looks like an FM tuner, probably a few regulators, a couple of big capacitors. They're not that big, but really 6800 microfarad at 63 volts. Even those aren't cheap to buy, at least if they're better quality. But they're only Sam Young, probably not the best on earth. But you've got this nice big bank of amplifiers here, which could probably be put to other uses, even if the thing has some weird microprocessor fault. But there's not, this one's actually pretty good for one of these. There's not a lot of stuff in here. Often they got lots and lots of boards, probably some of the earlier HDMI ones. Now they're getting down to these, a few big chips, Cirrus Logic, so there shouldn't probably be too much in them now, because you've got this sort of almost computer motherboard like stuff doing all the processing. And this doesn't look like it's had much use. It's got plenty of dust in it, but no obvious signs of heat and stuff, which is a good sign, because some of them definitely had a hard life. And we got the good old power cord cut off trick. So we'll get that clamp grommet off that and strip it back and hook her up and see what it actually does. Of course, there goes the screwdriver on the floor. Oops, I went a bit too deep there. Probably should be using some smaller cutters. Let's get rid of our CTIC approval. Which is all that thing's doing. I guess I'll leave it on there somewhere. Maybe get some finer cutters and just carefully snip this back. Too easy. No need to worry about earth on these ones, they're all double insulated these days. back there so we don't lose it. And I probably should just check for short circuit, open circuit on the primary, but chances are it'll be fine, at least if we know there's a circuit there. It seems rather high, but that is possibly because we've got a power relay where we've got a little transformer for standby. Still seems a bit high. Oh, we've got a click, and we've got some fancy stuff up on the front. We've got more clicks. So there's probably not an awful lot wrong with this thing. It's got a tuner in it. I mean, some of these, if they've got straight to code sound, if you've got a bypass, they actually make quite a good, maybe that's what that audio, pure audio mode. Don't know, but sometimes you can, Stadium Disc, I hate all that stuff. Pro Logic, if you've got just, there it is. We do have stereo, so maybe just in stereo mode, speakers A, B, off. Can hear the relays clicking, so that's a good sign most of it's working. I guess we can put it on radio. Next thing, well, I've got speaker protector, so I don't think we even need to check the speaker outputs on this thing. Because if there's any DC, it should be turning itself off and going into protect mode. So it's possible we won't get any sound because for all we know the relays we want didn't click, but we'll go to the front speakers. And see what it does. Hopefully something. KRF-M socket. That's on mute. Okay, yep, there we go. How do we tune? Multi-control, that's probably how we tune out. And it's just going to search by the look of it. And of course here the channels all the way down the other end. AV auxiliary, so this RDS. Does that mean it's got that digital radio stuff? Actually not too bad a nick, it's got a few scratches and stuff, but some of these amps probably don't make bad stereo amplifiers, but if you can bypass all the horrible surround sound stuff, which is great for movies but awful for listening to music, hopefully, we didn't get anything. Alright, come back. Stop. Let me tune. I've got a manual. Yeah, it's not going to pick anything up. So I don't think the tuner's working too well. Is there a way of... Doesn't look like it's going to let me do anything. Oh, wait, auto mono, that's what we want. Had to be a switch somewhere. It's pretty deaf, I think. Should be something on 87.8 here. Ah, man, it's slow. Hey, you don't have to be that slow. Nothing. Oh, now we got something. Volume control's as slow as the tuning control. My god, that thing is slow to move. That's ridiculously overboard, that volume control. I think I would have thrown it out just for that being so slow. Hey, look at this thing, it's on and on. So quite a bit of adjustment to get much sound change. But that was in, it's got a CD, DVD, video, oh there we are, CD, DVD. That was in stereo once I got it. Found the channel, so I don't know why it wouldn't find it, but... myself one of those annoying clicky sort of digital volume controls, I can't really see anything wrong with it. At least as a stereo amp. So that's probably a little bit too good to thieve all the transistors out of. Although I guess I could take all the rear channels and stuff out of it. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 channels. I've only got one output transistor per channel, or one pair. They're not doubled up, so they must be pretty good transistors. And whether it's really 100 watts RMS, I'd have my doubts, but you never know. Pro Logic, Dolby Digital EX, DTS ES, DTS 96/24. DTS ES, Neo 6, Dolby EX. Let's go back to radio. Band, AM, FM. Oh, it actually comes up with it. Oh, that's the RDS, that's right. It's not the digital radio, it's the radio something. But yeah, it tells you what the radio station is and can even tell you the track, I think. So, yeah, it's been so long, I forgot what it even was. So it's telling us we're listening to Pulse FM at the moment, which is kind of good. Especially when you've got a great big display like that in these things, you'd think they'd be able to do something more on the radio than just say the frequency, but no idea what's actually wrong with this thing. Besides having a very slow volume control, very slow tuning. Well, that didn't solve my problem. I just paid $10 for an amp with a dent in it. I might see if I can stomp on that dent there and try and recover that a bit. Shouldn't be too hard, so I don't know why someone's chucked this out, but hopefully it's not because it's hot or something. Give it a good stomp with the boots. And about, see, not quite perfect, but it's getting better. That's where it's time to bend it with the fingers a bit. Oh god, this metal's flimsy as. I mean, you expect it to be thin, but my god, it's aluminium can kind of thin. It actually bends too easily. Has enough clips on the front. I think it's broken one of the clips there, or two of them are at least bent or something, so that's not the best, but of course we've got the main score hanging out. Oh man, you could live with that if you don't really see it. Put some stuff on top of that. There's a bit of a dent down there. I'll get rid of that a bit. That is crazy how easy that bends with your thumb. It's almost like moulding clay or something. A little bit more of a dent there maybe, but that's not too bad. Give it a clean, get rid of that old price label, and got a nice 100 watt channel amp supposedly. I'll have to look up the specs on this thing. Could be handy for a bit of HDMI switching, if nothing else, I guess, if I can find a remote for it. Oh well. I'll give that one a test run and see what I do with it, but that hasn't really solved my problem. But the good news is I did actually find some transistors I've salvaged from amps in a bag, which are probably going to be the right ones anyway, so I better get onto that amp because it's been sitting around for a while with a blown channel, and I videoed as far as I got with it, so I better get back onto that and get it going. It's nothing particularly good, it's just, it is a stereo hi-fi amp, but it's one of these sort of black plastic things, so alright to use, but not really a collectible retro amp or anything, but just as a daily sort of user, they're fine, those sort of things, daily driver. So I'll give this thing a clean up and a test and see how it goes, but it actually seems to be largely working. Thanks for watching.